Yes, my friends, we have some situations and issues to work out. One of the biggest questions heading into the 2025 offseason is what the Lions will do at the backup quarterback position. Jared Goff is locked in as the starter through 2028, but behind him, things are a bit uncertain. Let's talk about that and more. If you're happy with Jared Goff's season, like this video and comment below. Oh my Goff, let's win, Lions. Now, Teddy Bridgewater is set to hit free agency, and while the Lions could bring him back, it's not a sure thing. That leaves 2023 third-round pick Hendon Hooker as the only backup under contract. But here's the catch. Detroit doesn't seem all that confident in Hooker. Late in the season, instead of giving him reps as QB2, the team signed Bridgewater and even had him active over Hooker during the playoff loss to Washington. That's not exactly a strong vote of confidence. Now, there's speculation that Hooker could be traded this offseason. According to reports, the Lions may look to move him, as there's no clear path for him to start in Detroit. If that happens, the Lions would likely take a loss on the trade, considering they spent a third-round pick on him but may only get a fourth-rounder in return. So, where could Hooker end up? Two teams that stand out are the Las Vegas Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both have major question marks at quarterback and could take a chance on a young, developmental QB. The question is whether the Lions see Hooker as part of their future or if they'd rather move on and bring in a different backup. Now, let's shift gears to another roster decision. Should the Lions bring back veteran wide receiver Allen Robinson? Detroit signed Robinson to the practice squad before the 2024 season, and while he wasn't a major part of the offense, he was a trusted veteran presence in the locker room. He played in 12 games, saw limited snaps, and finished with 3 catches for 30 yards. Not big numbers, but his value wasn't just about stats, it was about leadership and depth. Dan Campbell spoke highly of Robinson, praising his work ethic, professionalism, and ability to step up when needed. Robinson was a key piece of the Lions vet squad, a group of experienced players who helped set the tone behind the scenes. So, should the Lions bring him back? Pros of re-signing Robinson. Experience and leadership, a veteran who knows the game and can help guide younger receivers. Versatility, he can play multiple positions and be a reliable option if injuries hit. Low cost, he made just $1.2 million last year, and a similar deal in 2025 would be easy to manage. Cons of re-signing Robinson. Takes a roster spot. Could Detroit use that spot for a younger player with more upside? Limited role, he wasn't a major factor in the offense, and with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams leading the WR group, his snaps would remain low. Detroit could also explore other WR options in free agency, or they could draft a young wide receiver to develop behind their current starters. So, Lions fans, now it's time for you to weigh in. What should Detroit do with Hendon Hooker? Should they keep him as QB2, or should they trade him for a draft pick and bring in a different backup? And what about Allen Robinson? Should the Lions bring him back as a veteran presence, or should they move on and look for a younger player? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The Lions just made a huge coaching move, and this one is personal for one of the team's biggest stars. Tashard Choice is officially the new running backs coach in Detroit, and he's someone who knows Jahmyr Gibbs better than just about anyone. Choice comes to the Lions after spending the last few years coaching some of the best running backs in college football at Georgia Tech and Texas. If his name sounds familiar, it's because he played 6 seasons in the NFL, and now, he's known for developing top-tier running backs, including Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and Jonathan Brooks. This is a home run hire for Detroit. Not only do they get an experienced coach who's helped shape some of the NFL's top young backs, but they reunite Gibbs with the guy who helped mold him into a first-round talent. When Gibbs first arrived at Georgia Tech, it was Choice who coached him before his transfer to Alabama. The bond they built during those years was strong, and now they'll be working together again at the NFL level. Choice has been a massive believer in Gibbs' talent since day one. After the Lions drafted him at pick number 12 in 2023, Choice said he got angry texts from 6 different NFL running backs coaches, all of them furious that Detroit had grabbed Gibbs before their team had a chance. That should tell you just how highly respected Gibbs was coming out of college. But what really stands out is how Choice compared Gibbs to Hall of Fame Lions receiver Calvin Johnson. He described him as a quiet competitor, a guy who doesn't talk much but believes he's the best player on the field every time he steps on it. That's the kind of mentality that makes superstars. And after watching Gibbs explode for 1,412 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns last season, it's safe to say he's just getting started. This hiring is also a big deal for another reason. The Lions coaching staff has undergone a massive overhaul this offseason. The Lions have lost 8 assistant coaches, including 5 on offense. Ben Johnson left to become the head coach of the Chicago Bears, taking Antoine Randall L. and J.T. Barrett with him. Tight ends coach Steve Hyden and passing game coordinator Tanner Engstrand also departed, joining Aaron Glenn's staff with the New York Jets. To fill those gaps, Detroit has made some smart hires. John Morton is in as the new offensive coordinator, while Bruce Gradkowski, assistant QB coach, and David Shaw, passing game coordinator, have also joined the staff. Scotty Montgomery, who coached running backs last season, will now focus on working with the receivers. On defense, the Lions also lost D-line coaches Terrell Williams, Patriots, and Cam Davis, Jets. But there's one key connection that makes the Choice hire even better. He's best friends with new defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard. The two were teammates with the Buffalo Bills, and now they're reunited on Campbell's staff. That's another example of how this Lions coaching group is built on relationships, trust, and a shared vision of toughness and development. So what does this mean for Detroit's running back room in 2025? For starters, it cements Jahmyr Gibbs as the face of the backfield. If anyone can unlock even more from him, it's the guy who helped develop him in college. Choice has an incredible track record, and his ability to get the best out of his players is a huge win for the Lions. But it's also great news for David Montgomery. Choice just coached Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Brooks, 2 backs who thrived in a 1-2 punch system at Texas. That means he knows exactly how to balance 2 high-level running backs, something Detroit already does well with Gibbs and Montgomery. Expect this duo to be even more dangerous next season. Now, Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this hire? Do you love the idea of reuniting Gibbs with his college coach? And what kind of season are you expecting from the Gibbs-Montgomery duo in 2025? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We've got non-stop Lions content coming your way, and you won't want to miss a second of it. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Lions!